Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiance didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Will Abear Show with Will Abear. I'm of course Will Abear. We are through with week 11 now in the fantasy football world, and before we get going, I did ask most of y'all. I apologize to Kathy and Porter. It was such late notice, and this was all really thrown together. But I asked most of y'all to come up with something that you were thankful for, fantasy football-wise. And, well, here's what most of you guys had to say.
Well, this Thanksgiving weekend, I am grateful that my record is better than Billy's record.
Wow, that was a shot fired. So on this Thanksgiving weekend, I'm thankful that this preseason type tournament that we've been having, similar to last year, has ended, and we're getting ready for the playoffs, because that's when my team really heats up.
In the spirit of Thanksgiving and the enjoyment of fantasy football, I'm thankful for three things. First, I'm thankful for having the first pick in the draft this year and having the opportunity to select Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, who in my opinion is the best player in the NFL. In the words of Carly Simon, one of the greatest female vocalists of all time, nobody does it better. Josh Allen is simply the best. Second, I'm grateful that my team, the Yellowstone Bisons, has a name that sounds like a real football team, unlike some teams in our league that ought to be participating in some other arena. Third, I'm thankful for winning more games than I have lost and for being competitive in most of the games that I have played thus far in the regular season.
Hey Will from the Will Abear Show. This is disgruntled fantasy team owner of the Cleveland Massage team, Mason Abear. And Thanksgiving, what am I thankful for? Frankly, what I'm most thankful for on my team is me. I mean, we've all seen it. I've had probably 15 different quarterbacks on my team this year. The rest of my players got injured, and you know, it takes a superior fantasy manager to go out and continue to succeed, and that's what I've done, and that's why I am most thankful for me.
Will, you asked what I am grateful for. I am so grateful to God that I have in my lives Dee Dee, Kathy and Julia, Billy, Sabrina, Will, and Mason, Justin, and Max. And I'm so grateful that they're all close by and such an integral part of my life and the life of our family. Thank you, Will.
Hey crew, Will Abear here, head coach of the Roethlisberger Helper team, and I just wanted to say I am very thankful for Cooper Kupp this year. Absolutely tragic, and it's a travesty what happened to him. And I will find the person who did that and go on a personal vendetta. But Roethlisberger Helper looking strong, and Cooper Kupp, I'm thankful for you. Pretty neat stuff. Anyway, let's jump into the scores, shall we? I know that's what we all love to hear, right? So our first game was number 2, Kathy Golddigger, taking on number 8, B3, All I Do Is Win. And this was a low-scoring affair. Final score, Kathy 103, Dad 79. Of course he lost. Of course he lost. Anyway, these were the two lowest scoring teams of the week, and they got matched up against each other. Kathy's highest score was the Washington defense with 21. As for Dad, he benched Justin Tucker. I don't know how you do that. And he benched some Steelers players who went off. Najee Harris had 28, and George Pickens had 18, both on the bench. Our next game was also decently low scoring. Number 3, Will Roethlisberger Helper, taking on number 4, Dee Dee's Yellowstone Bisons. The final there, 107 for me, and 121 for Dee Dee. So a good week for you, Dee Dee. Mark Andrews made his return for me, but 12 points in his debut. My running backs, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, and Dameon Pierce, all were held under 5 points. So that is not a winning formula for you there. As for Dee Dee, Tony Pollard went off with 37, and Jamal Williams had 3 touchdowns for Detroit, 24. And won this week despite having Tyreek Hill on bye. So congratulations, Dee Dee. Our third game featured number 6, Mom, This Girlie's on Fire, and number 7, Nene, It's in the Bible. The final score on that one, Mom 135, good week, and Nene 125. This game actually came down to Monday Night Football. Congratulations, Mom, on the win. But some top scores, Devontae Adams for Mom had 33, and McPherson, the kicker for Cincinnati, had 17. And as for Nene, Mahomes had 27, went off, and the Baltimore defense had 16. On Monday Night Football, it was virtually a tie game. Mom had Jimmy Garoppolo left, and Nene had James Conner opposing teams. But Jimmy Garoppolo outscored James Conner by about 10. Garoppolo's 25 got Mom the victory. Huge, huge victory. Our final game matched the 2 highest scores of the week together. So it was a shootout. Number 5, Porter, First Down Syndrome, took on number 1, Mason's Cleveland Massage Team. Final score, Porter 164, Mason 158. Wow, what a game. For Porter, he had a bunch of people get over 20 points. Burrow, Derrick Henry, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amari Cooper, all over 20 points. And as for Mason, he got 35 from Kelsey and 23 from Tyler Bass, the kicker from Buffalo. Entering Monday Night Football, Mason had a lead with Brandon Ayuk left, and Porter only had George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. Despite Ayuk getting 16, a solid performance, Kittle had 2 touchdowns, and Deebo Samuel had 1 touchdown, and it was just enough to win on Monday Night Football. If Porter does not get one of those touchdowns, it is a loss. So what a game. Congratulations, Porter. This game actually does bring me to the meme of the week. Take a look.
It's not personal.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Wow.
I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!
As for our awards sections, we are going to first start off, of course, with the Golden Chainsaw. That goes to Porter Ward. Highest scorer of the week, beat the number 1 team, and really just a big rebound win after losing to me last week. So, a good job, Porter. The Vacuum Award for sucking goes to me. No Cooper Kupp, big problem. Where are you, buddy? I need you back. Insightful Foresight. This one goes to Dee Dee. He played Tony Pollard, who is splitting carries with Ezekiel Elliott, over Aaron Jones, the sole running back in Green Bay, and Pollard was the highest scoring running back of the week. The Cond Award goes to Mason. It is the most points he's ever scored over the past 2 years, 158, and he lost. So that's tough, Mace. Our new awards that we just recently got, the 2020 Hindsight Award, this goes to the person who left the most points on the bench. That goes to Dad for leaving 34 points on the bench. No surprise there. And the Pearl Award for having the least possible amount of improvement. Like, if you'd started the perfect team, you would not have gotten, it's the person who would have gotten the least improvement. And this goes to Kathy, who only left 2.8 points off the board. So congratulations there. One final segment before I go into what we do next week. We're going to shoot it over to Didi, and he has his predictions for how he thinks the playoffs are going to look. It's coming up only in 2 or 3 weeks. Everyone makes the playoffs, but the seeding is definitely a big part of it. So I'm going to shoot it over to him, and he's going to give us his predictions. Take it away.
We are coming down the home stretch for the 2022 fantasy football season, and the race to the finish line continues to tighten as the leading teams jockey for a favorable position in the playoffs. During the first 11 weeks of the season, every team has had its ups and downs. Lineups have changed for a variety of reasons, ranging from injuries to a lack of point production. Each week of the season, the ESPN Fantasy app automatically calculates a final standing projection. Upon the conclusion of the games in Week 11, the ESPN final standing projections are as follows. You can see in first place, Didi's Yellowstone Bisons, followed by Sabrina's This Girlie's on Fire, Porter's First Down Syndrome, Kathy's Gold Digger, Will's Roethlisberger Helper, Nini's It's in the Bible, Mason's Cleveland Massage, and Bill's All I Do Is Win. Those projections are presented without any explanation of how the rankings were determined. It seems fair to speculate that the computer-generated projections are based on some algorithm that factors in percentage of wins, total points scored, and projected points of players on the roster. In fantasy football, team managers must decide each week which players to start and which players to sit. The decision to start or sit is based on who the manager thinks will garner the most points by position. In some cases, the manager's decision is a no-brainer, particularly if the manager has a player on his roster who routinely scores 20 or more points each week. In other cases, the decision is more difficult. When the manager is trying to determine how a player might perform against a particular team that has a strong defensive unit. So my rankings are based on 2 measures. The first is points accumulated during the season. The table you see before you lists the 8 teams by average points scored through Week 11. Mason's Cleveland Massage team holds down the top spot, averaging 127.38 points per week. Sabrina's This Girlie's on Fire team ranks second with an average of 126.96 points per week. Will's Roethlisberger Helper team ranks third with an average of 126.69 points per week. Notice how close the average points are. Less than 7 points separate the highest ranked team from the 7th ranked team. As the season progresses, team rosters change, and with those changes come different point totals for most, if not all, teams. With that in mind, I decided to look at the points scored during the 5 most recent weeks. The table you see lists the 8 teams by average points scored for weeks 7 through 11. I'm not going to go over each one of these, but you can see that Nini holds down the first spot, averaging 144 points, followed by Porter with 136. Next is Mason with 135. And then Sabrina holds the 4th spot with 133. To come up with my list of projections, I decided to merge the two lists. Weeks 1 through 11 points, and then weeks 7 through 11 points. And then I added the percentage of wins for the first 11 weeks of the season. And then that led me to my list of projections for the final standings before the playoffs begin. So without further delay, here is my list of the projections. Holding down the top spot will be Mason's Cleveland Massage. Second will be Sabrina's This Girl Is on Fire. Third, Porter's First Down Syndrome. 4th spot is Nini's It's in the Bible. Next is Will's Roethlisberger Helper. 6th is Dee Dee's Yellowstone Bisons. 7th, Kathy's Gold Digger. And then 8th is Bill's All I Do Is Win. We'll see how accurate those projections are as the season concludes over the next 3 weeks. So stay tuned. I will now turn it back to Will Hebert.
The AP poll, and a lot of shakeup actually. Our new number 1 team, up from the 4 spot, is Dee Dee. At number 2, Porter was number 5. Amazing. At number 3 is Kathy, down from the 2 spot. Number 4 is Mason, was number 1. Number 5 is me, was number 3. Number 6 is Mom, who is remaining at 6. Nini is 7, remaining at 7. And Dad is 8, of course, remaining at 8. And this finally takes me over to, what are we going to do next week? Our next week, week 12, we actually have some really good matchups coming. Not this one. Number 8, Dad, takes on number 6, Mom. Battle of, losers. Number 7, Nini, takes on number 2, Porter. And I expect this one to be pretty good. Nini, on a little bit of a hot streak. Number 4, Mason, taking on number 5, Will. That is obviously going to be a great matchup. I'm sorry in advance for you, Mason, because my team is just too good. And then number 1, Dee Dee, takes on number 3, Kathy. And it's just really solid lineup going into next week. So I know this was a little thrown together and whatever, but it is the Will Hebert Show, and it's only my say. Sorry, y'all. But anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Until next time, bye.